What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jerome. I'm here today with the review for Married to Medicine. This is season 6, episode 3, titled Crabby Ladies. So, without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright, so we're going to start with Dr. Contessa. Dr. Scott is coming to the house. I guess he just got off of a shift. So, he's talking to Dr. Contessa about her dad. And, Dr. Contessa is basically like, her dad is really scaring her because he's sleeping a lot. And, when he flew into Atlanta, when he got off the flight, he slept for 4 hours. So that's why Dr. Contessa was so worried about him. And she said even after she picked him up, he still continued to go to sleep, which that, really just scared her a lot, And then, Dr. Scott is sitting there telling Dr. Contessa about the party, how Toya was just talking about how her core group is there. She got her Mariah there, her Jackie, her Simone, and her Heavenly. And like, is anybody else here? Nope, they don't matter. And, Dr. Contessa's thing was, she was upset and she was just worried about her dad, which I get that. Now, looking at it from both sides, I do see both sides. I don't think Toya had the right to flip out the way she did, but Toya did have a right to be upset. Dr. Contessa could have called Toya and just been like, what, there's something going on with my dad, I can't make it, and all that kind of stuff. And Toya could have been like, okay, that's cool. But at the same time, I get where Dr. Contessa is coming from. She was just worried about her dad. So Toya was the last thing in her mind, let me call Toya and tell her about, my dad, and I'm not going to be able to make it to the party. So like I said, I see both sides of the spectrum. So Toya was completely wrong for how she, acted at that party last week. Your guests are there, and instead of thanking your guests for being there, you want to thank them by shading Contessa and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was bullshit. All right, then we get another scene where Contessa is cooking dinner, and they're talking about her dad, talking to her dad about his health and all that kind of stuff. They asked him about, he said he had a biopsy, which it wasn't a conducive biopsy because there's scar tissue from him having the Crohn's disease and all that kind of stuff. But his doctor does believe that he has cancer and all that kind of stuff. And, he's putting up treatment and all that kind of stuff, which, most people, I get it, when it comes down to cancer, people are afraid of it. But, if there's any help that you can, treat it and manage it, go for it because, it can prolong your life. But then at the same time, I know that, even by doing those cancer treatments, sometimes it can help your life, prolong your life, and it can also shorten your life because, that's not, it's, I don't know. Like I said, it can just prolong your life or it can shorten your life because I've saw that case with family members where, they've had cancer treatment, but it didn't do anything but kind of just shorten their life. I had an uncle who had some, cancer, and he took the treatment, but the treatment was not helping his cancer at all. It actually was just, eating at his body. And you could clearly see that. And, Dr. Contessa is telling her dad that, basically he's the only person that she has left, and, she don't want to be without him, but she doesn't want him to suffer, and that if anything is going wrong with him, for him to just let her know. And, I definitely understand where Dr. Contessa is coming from with that about, him being the only person that she has left. Because, I'm in a situation where I'm alone in this world. My mother is gone. My grandmother is gone. So, I definitely understand where Contessa is coming from. And funny enough, her dad's name was Gerald, which is actually my first name. I was like, another Gerald. I don't see too many black people named Gerald. No, yeah, I don't really see that a lot. Now, moving over to Dr. Simone, she and her son Michael, they're out practicing driving in the car. He's driving around the corners. She's teaching him how to parallel park and all that kind of stuff, which is, cool. And then, once they go in the house, she's asking Michael about, how he feels about everything between her and his dad. He feels like his dad is stubborn, and that, he feel like both his parents are stubborn. And, he doesn't like, he didn't like when he felt like he had to choose between which parent he stayed with. Which that's been my whole thing when it comes down to Dr. Simone and, Cecil with these two homes. When it comes to their kids, I get that, one house is closer to the job and one house was closer to the school. I definitely get that part. If you can save money and save time, I definitely get that. But why not have all the family in the same house? Because like Michael said, it makes him feel like he has to choose between his two parents, which, no kid should have to feel like they have to choose between their parents. So that's been my whole thing when it comes to the houses. I feel like they both should have lived in the north and the south house instead of, maybe, whoever lives in the north house and whoever lives in the south house. I feel like they all should have been there as a collective family, despite, whatever. Or either found a house in the middle ground, like you find a house close to the south house and find a house close to the north house. So that way you are close to both jobs, close to the kids' school and all that kind of stuff. And that could have alleviated a lot of the stress. I also had someone last week in my comments talking about how the traffic in Atlanta is bad, which I do know that the traffic down there in Atlanta is horrible. It's just like the traffic up here in Dallas. Dallas traffic is horrible as fuck. Like, when I get off work during the week and my best friend, she and I carpool. When we are on our way to my apartment, it takes about at least a good 45 minutes, just to get from one spot to the next. Luckily enough, I know back roads, so it don't take us nearly that long. So I definitely get it. The traffic is bad and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely get that. But I feel like they should find a common ground and a happy medium that, appeases both of them and doesn't make their kids feel like they are having to choose between one parent over the other. All right, then you got Mariah. She is with her daughter, Lauren. I didn't even realize her daughter was that old, that she's going into high school. And, she's going through her clothes and talking about what she wants to get rid of because she wants clothes that make her look older. Now, my whole thing with the whole thing of wanting to look older, I get it, because even in high school, I didn't look, actually, when I was in high school, I looked older than what I was. People thought that, like, when I was 16, people thought I was 18 years old because I had a full mustache and beard. And then at 18, people thought I was older than what I was. Or sometimes, and then when I shaved my facial hair, people thought I was younger than what I was. So I definitely get it. You want to look older. You want to look like your friends and all that kind of stuff. And I like the message that Mariah gave to her. Excuse me for burping. I like the message that Mariah gave to her because I did see that in high school myself. The girls who look older and all that kind of stuff, some of them were pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And, looking older it's not necessarily a good thing because, when you're out with your friends and, you have, and I hate to say it, but, there are perverted men out there in the world and they look at these little girls who have full breasts and, a full ass and think that they are older than what they are. And they try to, pick the girls up and all that kind of stuff when 9 times out of 10 they could be 14 to, 17 years old. So looking older is not necessarily a good thing. And I did like how Mariah, told her about what Mama Lucy did to her. She said her friends were having sex, but Mariah was not having sex. And Mama Lucy put her on birth control. Now, I don't 100% agree with that. If Mariah was not having sex at the time, to put her on birth control, talk to Mariah, tell her, the pros and the cons of having sex and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately, if she is having sex, tell her if you are having sex, we need to put you on birth control so that way, we don't get, you don't get pregnant and, all that kind of stuff. Let the choice be hers instead of you just forcing her to take the birth control. So, that's how I feel about that whole situation between Mariah and her daughter. Okay, we got Dr. Eugene and Toya. They are looking at a house. I'm like, what the fuck? Didn't y'all just get out of debt? Like, why are y'all looking for a house at this point? Like, save up your money to do something with it. Like, I don't get it. Why y'all, every season, y'all are looking for a house. One season, the house had you in debt. Then y'all had to downsize from that house. Now y'all looking at another house. Like, just be happy with what you got. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses and all that kind of stuff. Because I feel like everything is Toya, is related to Toya when it comes to houses. I do not feel like at all that it is Dr. Eugene. I just feel like it's Toya trying to keep up with other people. And, once they talk about how much the house was, they have a budget of $2 million. And I'm like, what kind of house are y'all buying in Atlanta? It costs $2 million. Like, what? And, like I said, they talking about they have a budget of $2 million. They've saved $2 million. Now, why y'all say that $2 million up? Why don't y'all save up another $2 million to have $4 million so that way y'all have, stability. Y'all won't have to worry about nothing. Like, I don't get it. Like, you can clearly tell these two are not good at all with finances. Like, they need a financial advisor, an accountant, everything. Somebody that can just help them with their money. Tell them, you don't need to buy this, you don't need to buy that. Hell no, you definitely don't need that. Like, you guys do not need this house. I get that you want a forever home. I get that shit, but Think smart. Like y'all, like I said, y'all just got the fuck out of debt. Why the fuck would you want to put yourself possibly back into the same situation that you just got out of? Like, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, I don't get that shit. Like, be happy with what you got. And like I said, I feel like this is all Toya. I do not feel like this is Dr. Eugene at all. All right, now we got Dr. Heavenly. So she and she's planning a day out for Dr. Jackie, and Quad. They're gonna go paintballing, and Dr. Heavenly feels like maybe Quad should talk to Dr. Jackie, because Dr. Jackie has been through the same situation that Quad is going through, which I agree with that. If anybody can understand what Quad is going through, it would be all the women that have gone through it. Dr. Jackie, Simone, just sit down and have a conversation with them and figure out what they did and how they were able to, overcome it and forget their husbands and all that kind of stuff. But the difference between Quad and Dr. Jackie is that Quad does not want to be with Dr. G. We can clearly see that Quad does not want him. And I think she said on Watch What Happens Live last week, when she and Dr. Jackie was on there with Andy, that she's filed for divorce. But it's Dr. G that's dragging his feet and all that kind of stuff. And, I'm not going to try to place blame on anybody, because Dr. G was wrong. But when it comes down to Quad, she and Dr. G were never on the same page when it came to their marriage. Because, again, Dr. G wanted to have kids. Quad clearly does not want to have kids. And that was the biggest disconnect between Quad and Dr. G's marriage, was the fact that she wanted no kids and he wanted kids. So, I know you can looking at this season so far, you can clearly tell that Quad is over her marriage. She doesn't want to be with Dr. G, but she's just putting on a strong face for the cameras and all that kind of stuff, and she's not even really filming with the girls. She's filming with the Sister Circle girls, so whatever. And Jackie says that unlike Quad, she didn't avoid her friends, which I definitely got. That is true. Jackie didn't avoid her friends. She might have felt, she had her feelings about it, everything, but she didn't avoid the girls. And I think that's the problem with Quad. Quad wants to avoid this group of girls because she feels like they judge her and all that kind of stuff. And I actually tweeted this last week. I don't even know if I said it in my video last week. I probably did. I didn't. I probably did or didn't. But when it comes down to Quad, Quad to me feels like it's coming off like a bit of a hypocrite. Because for one, when Lisa Nicole was on the show, and I never agreed with anything that Lisa Nicole did or said, but when Lisa Nicole and Dr. Darren were on the show, Quad had no problem talking about their marriage relentlessly. But now that it's on her, she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to film with the girls and all that kind of stuff. And while they are sitting there doing the paintball, getting ready for paintball, Quad texts Dr. Heavenly and tells her that she had a meeting. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, you knew you had a meeting with Sister Circle Live before you even agreed to this whole thing with Dr. Heavenly. Like, I would have been pissed off. Like, I put my time into this, and I'm sitting here, and you didn't even call me and tell me that you want to come. You sent me a fucking text message. Like, what kind of, that's fucked up for real. And then, Heavenly is talking about how Quad is out there posting pictures of her with the Sister Circle Live girls, and I definitely get it. You feel slighted because, one, she's filming with these girls every day, but then y'all are filming y'all show, and she can't be bothered to film with y'all. But on your show that she's filming for, she's filming with Rashawn Ali and Selena Johnson. Like, Sister Circle Live knew that when they hired Quad to come on there, that she was a part of the Married to Medicine cast. So it's not like they not gonna give her time to film her, film Married to Medicine and still, fulfill her obligations to Sister Circle Live. And Quad is acting like Sister Circle Live is, up there equivalent to The View, The Talk, hell, even The Real. Like, it's a low budget version of both of those shows. Sorry to say it, but it's just a low budget version of The Real and a lower budget version of, The Talk and The View. So, I call bullshit on Quad with this one. Okay, and then we have Dr. Heavenly. She's having a crab boil. She's inviting all the women, that's including Quad. So, they're getting ready for the crab boil, and she tells her daughter, Alora, to pick up those crabs. That baby dropped all them crabs on the ground. I'm like, I know when the hell I would have been picking them bitches up. Like, fuck that, they dead. Let it go. They ain't dead, but just let that shit go. Because there ain't no fucking way I would have been fucking with some crabs that are alive. So, Simone shows up, and then she and Heavenly are talking. And, Heavenly wants to know how they're going to handle it if Quad shows up. And Simone is like, she's over Quad's bullshit at this point, so she's either with them or she's, not with them. And then, every Mariah shows up, Dr. Contessa shows up. And, they Simone asked for an update on Dr. Contessa's dad, and she tells her basically everything is still the same, He has his Crohn's disease, and he has, I think she said prostate cancer and all that kind of stuff. And, they are talking about Toya's party. And basically, Dr. Contessa said, she wasn't just going to drop her dad off for some bullshit, which I definitely 100% agree with that. But I also agree with what Mariah said. Mariah said she could have at least just called Toya and told her she wasn't coming. I agree with that. But if she's frantic and worried about her dad, you can't really expect her to, pick up the phone and be like, oh my God, I'm not coming to your party because my dad is this and this and that. If she's frantic, just let it go and be like, you know what, I get it. It was a dire situation. It is what it is. Let's move on from it. And then Toya shows up. And, Toya's still on this bullshit when it comes to Contessa. I'm like, girl, your party was not that damn deep or that serious for you to still be in your feelings about this party. So Quad finally does show up to an event. I'm like, oh, surprise, surprise. Look what the cat drew again. And, she goes around the table hugging all the girls, talking about hi. And I'm like, that's fake and phony as fuck. You haven't talked to these girls in how long? But whatever. And, she sits down and they want to know, what's going on with her. She's like, what do you mean what's going on with her? And I'm like, everything that's going on in your life and all that kind of stuff. And, she's talking about how the girls have not reached out to her. And I'm like, but they've invited you to many different events. You're the one who turns them down. So how are they not there for you? Like, explain it to me, Quad. Like, I could see it if the girls didn't call you, didn't text you, didn't do anything with you. But here they are trying to invite you, make you feel included. You are the one that's pushing yourself away from them. So how can you sit here and say that they are not reaching out to you? Like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's flawed. And then, I don't know what happened between Toya and Contessa, but they started arguing. And again, like I said, Toya is childish as fuck when it comes to this whole Contessa shit. Like, that girl's dad is sick. Like, what the fuck did you want her to? I mean, I get it. She could have made a phone call, but she didn't. Her husband did tell you she was not coming. Like, you acting like you didn't know anything. Hell, he showed up to the party. So what the fuck, Toya? Like, that was petty as fuck. Okay, and then so Quad is basically like she doesn't want to have an issue with any of the girls at their table. And I'm like, too late for that, because you don't talk to them, you don't film with them, you don't do shit with them. So you already have an issue with these girls. And Simone is just basically over her at this point, because Simone is like, all of them have gone through their own shit and they still are there for the group, because Simone had her shit last year where she and Cecil were going through filing for a divorce and all that kind of stuff. And then here's my thing when it comes to Quad. Quad, I get that you are on Sister Circle Live. I get that comes on 5 days a week. It's only a 30-minute show, and I get there's probably a lot of preparation before you start the show, so I'm not knocking that. But you can't compare. I don't get it. Like, people trying to talk about she's busy and all that kind of stuff. So are the other girls. Simone and Dr. Jackie alone are busy. They are OBGYNs. They deliver babies and all that kind of shit. So you cannot compare Sister Circle Live to those women who are doctors. Like, they do the same. They do more than you do. Hate to say it, but they do a whole hell of a lot more than what you do. And they still manage to be on the show, film the show, deal with their personal issues in their lives and put it out there for the world to see. And here you are on 2 shows, Sister Circle Live and Married to Medicine. And you still can't, find time to film with your friends and, just be like, I get it. You may not want to open up 100% to them, but don't sit here and play games. Like, you can sit here and film with Rashawn Ali and Selena Johnson and talk about what's going on in your marriage, but you can't film with the main women on your show and, open up to them. I know you don't want to feel judged and all that kind of shit. There's nothing wrong with that. Just say that when you sit down with them, like, I want you to be my friend. I want you to support me. I don't want you to judge me. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to listen to what I have to say and put it at that and leave it at that. Like, it's bullshit to me, to be honest with you. But Simone gets up and walks out because she, like I said, she was over Quad in her bullshit. And then you got heavily talking to some Quad. And she's just basically telling her how the girls feel like, she's dismissing and diminishing their friendships, which she is. She clearly did that when the episode when she filmed with Rashawn Ali and Selena Johnson. You just diminished your friendships with these girls who've known you for 5 years or more. And you've only known Selena Johnson and Rashawn Ali for what, maybe a year at this point, maybe not even a year. Like, I can see how these girls feel the way that they feel. Like, it's bullshit at this point. And, you know, basically, Quad was really trying to make everything about her, how the girls don't reach out to her again, and all this kind of stuff, which is bullshit because the girl, I can't really say it's bullshit, but just going off of what the girls have said, and then actually seeing this episode where Heavenly did invite her to the paintball event, is bullshit. Like, they are trying to reach out to you. It's you that's pushing back from them. Like, I don't know what to say. Now, I do respect Contessa because she had Quad's back this entire scene. You know, she was talking about how, Quad was out there crying on the street, and you know, talking about how Toya was talking over her, which I'm like, Toya was never talking over you. So I don't know where you came up with that from. And, you know, Contessa called her plastic, which she really is. It's not that she's plastic, she's superficial. And, you know, Mariah sees that Quad left her purse. So Mariah goes out there to take Quad her purse. Quad didn't take her purse. She told her to put it in something. I don't know what she told her to put it in. And Mariah was like, her girl, take your damn purse. Like, shit, take this motherfucker. And then they get into it out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go with these two. So then you got Mariah and Quad arguing. And, you know, Mariah hit Quad. Which, Mariah didn't have to do that, but, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, she's trying to follow in behind Quad to talk to her. And, you know, Quad is slamming doors and all that kind of shit. And I'm like, first of all, this is not your house. Like, if I was Heavenly, I would have told her, look her, bitch, don't be slamming no doors in my house. Like, you got to get the fuck out of here. So, you know, they go inside, you know, Mariah is talking to Quad and all that kind of stuff. And then outside, you got Simone and Toya doing what I would have been doing. After I said what I said to Quad, I would have been like, fuck it, let me get something to eat and, you know, fuck this shit. So, you know, Toya goes in there where they are, and like I said, Mariah was talking to her, and basically Quad feels like these girls are not sisterly at all. And I was here for what Heavenly said. Like, that's bullshit. Like, we tried to reach out to you, we tried to invite you to shit, but you are the one that's pushing yourself away from us. So how can you say we're not sisterly? Like, that's fucked up. But that was Married to Medicine. Like the video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. And, you know, I will see you guys later on for the Insecure review.